Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment, the perfect blend of paranormal and pop culture, with your host, Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earthling Entertainment with Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Hey, I'm your host who just found out the truth behind Triscuits, Joe Wakefield.
I just flew in from Andromeda, and boy, are my arms tired. Hi, I'm Ryan Lang.
Hi. So, if you are a reoccurring listener, hello, welcome back. How you doing? Love the haircut. It's a good new sweater there, Steve.
Hi.
Way to go. Yeah.
Good to see you.
Yeah. And if you are a new listener, welcome. How are you? We're glad to have you. Now, you might...
We'll do our best not to scare you.
Well...
Or maybe we will.
I mean, that's kind of up to them, right?
Yeah,
it's
we
like,
might.
Are you weak? It's not important. You might be asking what it is we do here on this show. Well, you know what? We'll tell you.
Let's do
What
it.
we do here is a little bit of the spooky, a little bit of the creepy. Now, sometimes that's cryptozoology. Other times it's a haunting or a myth or a legend, but it's always spooky, which is why it's in our segment called Spooky Stuff.
Spooky stuff.
That, of course, is followed by another segment we like to call Disclosure Discussion. That one's all about aliens.
I'm just asking questions. Anything that has to do with extraterrestrials, UFOs, anything like that, interdimensionals. Today, we actually have a story about Russia's Roswell.
Ooh. Then, the second half of the show, the latter half, if you will, is all dedicated to pop culture and entertainment. Now, sometimes we have celebrity guests. Other times we have trivia games or audio dramas. We always have headlines, and occasionally we talk about a celebrity death. But it's all pop culture all the time. That is movies, music, television, and video games. So mostly nerdy news.
Nerdy stuff.
Strap in. This is not the place to come if you want to talk about a distant war in a different country. We're
Yeah.
all about the fun. And that's the show. The first part being the spooky, and the second part being pop culture, come together in a delicious moon pie of a podcast we like to call Earthling Entertainment. Welcome.
Welcome indeed. Welcome back, like Joe said early on, and welcome new listeners. We hope you guys have a lot of fun. This is definitely going to be a fun show today.
It is. Now, so we are in the Detroit area, and it is very, very cold. I had to walk my dog at 5 a.m., and it was 2 degrees, Ryan.
Dude, it's blistering cold out. Like I couldn't even open the door to my car. It's frozen shut.
It's rough. It makes me wonder, all respect to anyone who lives in Canada. Like, I have to imagine you have to deal with way colder temperatures. Or anyone in Alaska. I imagine parts of Russia. I get it, you know?
Yeah,
Those
at least they
scientists-
got Tim Hortons.
Ooh,
yeah,
ooh.
you
Well,
know.
maybe not everyone. But the scientists
Yeah.
on Antarctica, I always think about them, where they're like, it's like a normal day, 40 below.
Yeah,
That's rough.
that's a normal day for them. That's for sure. But man, talk about not quite a normal day, which kind of actually happened right nearby.
Yeah, so, guys,
Nearby
imagine
us here in Detroit.
imagine it being so cold and having infrastructure fail. And that's kind of what we're talking about today at the beginning to start our show off. Check it out, Ryan.
54-inch water main break in southwest Detroit floods neighborhoods and strands residents. Here's what we know. This comes from Detroit WXYZ. Between 150 and 200 homes in southwest Detroit were impacted after a massive 54-inch water main break early Monday morning left streets flooded with several feet of water. City officials said this was the worst water main break they had ever seen, which is a lot. Detroit's huge.
Yeah, and it's a relatively old city too.
Right, right.
Hundreds of years.
It happened in the area of Lafayette Boulevard and Beard Street. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan said the 54-inch Great Lakes Water Authority main broke around 4 a.m. on Monday. We were on the scene as residents had to be evacuated from their homes. Many residents called 7 News Detroit Monday morning, reported they were stuck inside their homes as they filled up with water. Boats were used by firefighters who rescued families from their homes on the boat.
On boats. This was like a flood. This is the kind of thing you hear when like there's a hurricane in New Orleans.
And this is like Titanic level freezing water. This is insane.
It is insane. There's images of cars being frozen in the water, and it's up to like halfway up their door. Like it's like feet, like several feet of ice now.
Oh my God. The Great Lakes Water Authority said that the water main break has been isolated and water levels are receding. Water has been restored to most homes. The bigger concern is homes without heat and massive damage that has been caused. In all, they say they rescued 54 adults, 22 children, and 12 pets from the neighborhood.
Fluffy.
You gotta get fluffy. Crews responded to the scene before sunrise and are expected to remain in the area through at least Tuesday morning.
Yeah. So that literally just happened, and it just blows my mind because it doesn't mention it, but you have to imagine someone died. Also, think about having a basement like room. Like that would be full completely with water. It would be ice.
Yeah.
Your entire everything you own would be in ice. Like when you were a kid and you put action figures in cups of water and put it in the freezer.
Dude, yeah. Dude, I was watching like a time by time with like this dude on TikTok. It was the big flood. Forgive me, I don't remember where it was. There was like a huge flood recently, and they lived underground, and they were just literally out their window was just underwater.
Yeah.
And then it finally, by their last fit, it finally caved,
Yeah. Well,
and they were just like, "I guess I'm out."
yeah, that's rough.
Dude, but according to these images that you had here, holy crap! Like we're talking. It looks like walls of ice. Like
yeah.
it's just crazy. It's like Frozone showed up.
Frozen.
Like, where is my super suit?
That is the best Incredibles reference of the night so far, bud. Good job.
Thank you.
Good old Samuel L. Jackson. But if he was there, more people would be saved.
Dude,
He would find people
for
that weren't
sure.
even in the area to save.
Mm-hmm. For sure. That's right. But for sure, like, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine because, yeah.
I'm glad. Well, think about 54-inch pipe. So that's feet wide. That's huge. So that much water. Oh, I really kind of think this is a big enough story where you could make a movie about it. You really could. Like you'd make up shit. Most movies make up stuff. Spoiler, guys. But like if it's about a real event, you have characters, right? So we can have like a few people like struggling through this thing with the freezing water and trying to escape, and like you could have a whole big movie. I think they should. We should see if we can get the rights to this.
Well, and with this
I
type
wonder
of
if that works.
with this type of cold, like minutes count, like seconds count, because like anytime that long in freezing cold water like that,
Yeah,
you're done for.
Well, it's one thing when people are used to it. You see the people in different countries, Norway or whatever, and people are jumping into like ice baths because they're used to year-round temperature that is much different than what we're used to. So you get someone who, their living life spans between 95 degrees and then down to like 30 degrees is kind of like the average swing, but then you have the very cold and the very hot days. This is different.
Well, yeah. And I don't care who you are. I know Michiganders were pretty tough when it comes to different temperatures. All extremes, we get them both.
Yeah, there's a whole song called It's So Cold in the D. I
That's
suggest you
right.
look it up.
How the fuck we supposed to keep peace, Joe?
I do not know.
That made Beavis and Butthead, Joe. It makes me so happy.
What Ryan is talking about is there is a very indie song music video that you can find on YouTube where it's so cold in the D, and it became such a viral hit that at one point when Beavis and Butthead was brought back,
Yeah, like the resurgence.
they covered that as they used to with their old music videos.
I was gonna say how they used to make fun of music videos. That was a little segment.
So I assume they got paid. I don't know. It was on YouTube, so they might have been able to just sample it.
Oh, they had to have been paid.
Well, my hats off. Can you imagine doing like because we did stupid videos, go figure, when we were younger. Can you imagine if one of those like virally hit and we got money for it?
It wouldn't be good though.
That would be amazing.
It would not be. It would not be flattering.
It would be you and me and like a serial killer stuffed frog. It's fine. We were very creative children.
We were.
Well, we didn't have actors. They were action figures.
We had each other. We were actors.
Yeah.
But that's there is.
I should put out some of those old videos. Can you imagine like 00 Kitty Cat when we were like in 7th grade?
Yeah.
That is what the people want, Ryan.
What was the magic leprechaun that popped out of nowhere? Like, you'll never
Never
catch
catch
me,
me.
Lucky Charms, you dumb bastard.
Yeah, it was my spoof of Goldfinger. It was called Gold Midget.
I can't believe I remember that.
It was very insensitive, but I was young and I thought it was hilarious.
We were
And
young.
yeah,
What
but
could you do?
that was the best line in the whole script. Like,
Yeah, that was.
yeah, you'll never catch me, Lucky Charms,
You dumb bastard. I'll never forget it.
Man, I don't know what it is, but the Irish accent I always found funny, which is really cool because Ryan found a perfect cryptid for us this week, which comes from Ireland. So I might say I'm also Joe, master of segues.
That's right.
On this week's Spooky Stuff.
The Dobhar-Chú. When one imagines scary water-dwelling creatures, otters don't tend to be very high on the list.
I mean, they hold hands. They're the most adorable thing in the world.
They are friggin' adorable.
Yeah, they're like, I'm going to hold this pebble and then my little guy's hand, and we're going to just kind of float together. There are so many greeting cards.
But Joe, what about a man-eating otter hybrid, strong enough to smash rocks with its head?
Oh, shit!
That's a little scarier. The Dobhar-Chú, which translates to waterhound, is a cryptid that is said to live in the lakes and rivers of Ireland. It is described as being a large, otter-like creature with a long tail and sharp teeth.
Yeah, they're vicious, but they still hold hands, which is also adorable. It's part of how they hunt you. They're so cute. They lure you in, and
It's
you
like, I can't not hold it. I can't not hold it. I mean, how am I supposed to say no?
All jokes aside, this creature is not adorable, but they do hold hands. Continue.
So its appearance has been variously described as half dog, half fish, an eel-like creature, like an eel, a weasel or an otter-like creature, and even described as a dinosaur resembling a waterfowl.
Well, goddamn, it could have been a man-eating platypus
It's
because that's
been
what a
all over the
waterfowl
place,
like,
yeah.
But fair enough. It's most commonly referred to as an otter-like
Correct.
creature, though. So we'll go with that one.
The total length is often between 2 and 4 meters. There have been many sightings of the Dobhar-Chú over the years. One of the most famous sightings of the Dobhar-Chú occurred in 1881 when a man named Patrick O'Leary claimed to have been attacked by the creature while swimming in a lake. Oh, Patrick O'Leary.
I mean, he was a drunk. Should we listen to him?
Let's be fair.
I don't know that.
Speculative. All speculative. O'Leary said that the Dobhar-Chú was about 10 feet long and had a long, slender body with sharp teeth. He also said that
Great ass.
hey, he was really looking. He was really paying attention. He also said that the creature had a black, oily coat and a pair of glowing red eyes. I don't like that.
Yeah, glowing red eyes is usually a sign of like, oh, that's unsettling.
Well, yeah, because that's like something that like hunts nocturnally. There's there's something in us that is naturally afraid of that when you see like eyes in the dark.
Yeah, the ones that shine.
Yeah, because you know that's definitely a predator. That's coming to get you.
Yeah.
It's,
Can you
it's, like,
imagine Vin
ingrained in
Diesel?
us.
Can you imagine Vin Diesel hiding in the bushes with his Riddick eyes? Just looking. Oh, is it a bear? Is it a squirrel? Oh, it's Vin Diesel.
Family.
Yeah. Nice Riddick reference.
Thanks. Dobhar-Chú have been reported for a long time, since ancient Ireland. They are said to be very aggressive to humans and dogs. They were said to attack in groups or pairs. First, one
While holding hands.
That's right. I was about to say, I was waiting for it. First, one Dobhar-Chú will attack. If it fails, then its companions or its single companion, holding its hand, will rush in to attack too.
Ah, so it's like Marvel vs. Capcom.
They will follow prey through water and onto land. According to legend, the beast's skin is magical. It's said to have protective properties. Carrying just an inch of it will protect your ship from sinking, keep your house from falling down, and make the wearer safe from any kind of harm at all.
So I think
That's
this,
it.
yeah, I think this is really interesting though, because it's kind of like if the Golden Fleece. I think was it. I don't know if it was the Odyssey or the Iliad. I think it was the Odyssey, but the going for the hunt in Greek mythology for the Golden Fleece, which had all this, magical properties. And
Yeah.
it's kind of the similar thing. So basically, getting the skin off a vicious beast is very common in storytelling.
And so the Dobhar-Chú has that as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Interesting. So, but unfortunately, Joe, your quest for said pelt is not going to be easy. According to some folklore, the Dobhar-Chú can only be killed with a silver bullet.
Oh, see, this is the problem because silver is not an inexpensive metal. It is a precious metal, Ryan. So can you imagine missing and how much money that would cost? Like every time you take a shot, be like, that cost me $5 every time I miss.
Wasn't that a stand-up joke?
This expedition is costing this people too much. And yes, it was don't get rid of guns, raise the cost of bullets. And I don't
where it's
remember
like,
who
I'm
sang it.
I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna raise some money.
But that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, think about it. Like, how much silver do you have? Like, melted. Can you imagine? Oh, you spend your life, you lose your life fortune because you're trying to get this one pelt.
Well, and I don't know about you, but I mean, I've been to the, I've looked
This
at
is why
ammunition.
I don't hunt werewolves, Ryan.
I've looked through ammunition. They never have silver bullets. Is that a thing? Like,
No, you'd have to make your own silver bullets.
okay,
Yeah. What are we? That dude from Twilight? We're not hunting werewolves, Ryan.
I don't know. And unfortunately, whoever kills it, the Dobhar-Chú, will die exactly 24 hours later.
Well,
So if you kill it, you die.
now you gotta like trick somebody into doing it. Now
Yeah.
it gets really dark. Now you gotta
It's
not.
become like very Smile.
It makes better. Oh, hold on though. It makes better. You gotta like fund the expedition yourself, right? Then you hire the greatest hunter and you give him silver bullets, and that's like the one thing you don't tell him. You're like, it's fine. Go kill it.
Yep.
It's cool.
And then just like
Bring me back
24
the
hours
pelt.
later, you're looking at your clock.
You gotta be like, you gotta bring me that pelt before 24 hours though.
You're sitting with him at the you're having a beer with him. You're looking at your watch, and then just
Wait a minute. Continue. Hold on.
just like cheers, and then you just bleh.
But you know what's really? I'm thinking about this. If you have the pelt, no harm will come to you, right?
Right.
So what if you kill the thing, but then you hang on to the pelt? So what if he's fine until he loses the pelt?
If you so that's it. It becomes his portrait.
Essentially, like
that
the
portrait that the guy like lives
Dorian
through.
Gray.
Yeah.
The portrait of Dorian Gray. Yeah. So now you he can't. Oh, if he passes over, so it could be a week, it could be a month. The guy's late, everything's fine, right?
Yep.
But if he gives the pelt, huh.
So, legend states.
Hey, boss, here you go.
Let me handle that bag for you. No, don't take that bag.
Yeah, can we not do this in my office? Why?
It's like, do not take my fanny pack off of me. Why? Don't. So, legend states they have a taste for human flesh
Well, it is delicious.
and always come at least in pairs, if not in big groups. While they live in water, they are more than happy to chase their two-legged prey on the land and are incredibly fast. And I found this really cool image. It looks like it's from like an old map where literally it's listed in this lake to be warmed of a Dobhar-Chú, and it's like drawn like an ancient map. It's wild.
They're like, look, these things exist here.
Like, we should totally post that.
Yeah, we will.
So, Joe, and they're strong enough to headbutt straight through giant boulders.
I mean, that's pretty strong.
Rather romantically, however, they mate for life.
Huh.
And,
Well, at least there's that. At least they're not whores.
and God help anyone who kills a Dobhar-Chú's mate.
They're what kills you in 24 hours.
Yeah.
What if there you
that
go.
might be it.
They stalk you
That's probably
and
it.
you get murdered.
Yeah, and they're incredibly efficient. The creatures have been spotted all over Ireland, leading to some to believe that they are migratory. They have been spotted in Ireland's lakes, rivers, and along its coast. Modern day Dobhar-Chú are very rare or maybe even extinct, but it is said that Dobhar-Chú can be found on Achille Island, west of Country Mayo. On this island, there is a lake, Srahins Low. Dobhar-Chú are said to live there now. For now, the first modern sighting noted a description of West Connaught from 1684 by Roderick O'Flaherty. Forgive me, these are European names. Another report in 2003 was made by Irish artist Sean Corcoran and his wife of a Dobhar-Chú on Omi Island, Connemara. They reportedly saw a giant creature with dark coloring and membranes on the feet to swim.
I mean, that makes sense. It lives in the water.
There is a headstone found in Conwell Cemetery in Glenade. I don't know what CO stands for, forgive me. Leitrim depicts the Dobhar-Chú and is related to the tale of an attack on a local woman by the creature. The stone is claimed to be a headstone of a grave of a woman killed by the Dobhar-Chú in the 17th century. Her husband supposedly heard her scream as she was washing clothes down by Glenade Low, CO, Leitrim, and came to her aid.
Well, I just want to point out this was before proper police work and forensics, and he murdered his wife. But that's just saying.
That is supposedly. So when he got there, and she was already dead.
Yeah, exactly.
With the Dobhar-Chú upon her bloody and mutilated body.
It was a fucking Dobhar-Chú, man. Go find it.
The man killed the Dobhar-Chú, stabbing it in the heart.
Let me guess, he got rid of the body.
As it died, it made a whistling noise. And its mate arose from the low. Its mate chased the man, but after a long and bloody battle, he killed it as well.
Where are the bodies?
That is irrelevant.
Totally. They killed my wife, but I got them. Where are they? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't have to worry about
it. For real, does it not say?
No, it doesn't say.
Okay, well, I have questions.
Like you said that, back then it was a pretty short list of questions.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. So what happened? All right. What did you do? All right. Who's dead? Okay.
Yeah.
Have a good day. I don't know why I'm making it southern. This takes place in Ireland. Anyways.
Well, to be fair, everywhere is south of somewhere, Ryan.
That's right.
Maybe there's a bunch of Scandinavian people who are like, Southerners.
So, back to the Dobhar-Chú. This crazy otter of madness.
Oh my God. I love that. That should be a band name. Ryan, your next band is the Crazy Otter of Madness.
I don't mind it.
We should do it.
Some have reported that it resembles an otter, but residents of the area say it is unlikely to be a misidentification of an otter because they see otters on a daily basis.
We know what a fucking otter
that's what they're saying. They're
like,
like, we know what a fucking otter looks like. That was my best. For all of my Irish blood, I cannot do a good Irish accent. Forgive me. A modern day influence of the Dobhar-Chú is Vaporeon, which is a Pokemon. It is based on that. Did you know that, Joe? Do you know Vaporeon? It's one of the evolutions.
No.
It's the water.
Is it one of the first 150?
Yep.
Well, then I don't have an excuse.
Yep, it's one of the first ones. With a water stone becomes Vaporeon, electric stone becomes Jolteon, and with a fire stone becomes Flareon from Eevee.
Right. So the Eevee, for those of you who don't know Pokemon, Eevee's like a fox, right? And depending on the stone, it turns it, because doesn't it turn into like 14 other fucking things?
Oh yeah, it's already got way more. But one funny thing is it doesn't have a ghost type. And like everybody like made like a funny like little thing where it's like use this stone to evolve to this stone, and it was a brick.
Hold on.
Like get it? So you just fucking
hit it with a brick. Yeah, that's funny. But you know what I want to point out right here? Ryan said to me earlier, he looked at our headlines on this show, and he said to me, "This is the nerdiest shit that you've ever done for headlines. Like it is just so nerdy." He was just now confessing about all his Pokemon knowledge, but yet he's gonna call me nerd. I say it is
Joe,
quite equal.
Joe,
Quite equal.
the song doesn't say to catch some of them.
It
Says you gotta catch them all, Joe.
do you know how many there are now?
No,
Is
probably
it
like
like
700 and something. Maybe 800.
It makes
Somewhere
sense.
around there.
It
Somewhere
makes
around there.
sense, man. That's a lot of new trading cards you got to print.
Yeah. No, but I do play the games. But yes, so that is a modern day reference. It because the Dobhar-Chú is actually popular in Japan as well,
That makes sense.
and they incorporated that into the game. So Vaporeon has multiple traits that are similar to those of the Dobhar-Chú. So to end here, there is no quote unquote scientific evidence to prove that the Dobhar-Chú exists, but the creature remains a popular topic of speculation and debate among cryptozoologists and other enthusiasts like ourselves and yourself. Some people believe that the Dobhar-Chú is a real creature, while others believe that it is a myth. There is no right or wrong answer.
I mean, there is.
No, there isn't.
Between whether or not something's real or not.
You go ahead and prove to me it doesn't exist, Joe.
I don't need to prove to you it doesn't exist because I think it's more likely this exists than many cryptids for the simple fact that it's in the water, and it's hard for us humans who don't live in the water to explore all the nooks and crannies and depths that are out there. So if any cryptid is in the water, I think it's totally more likely to exist than not.
I agree. So that is why that its story continues to capture the imagination of people all over the world, Joe.
All over the world. It was really funny, guys. When I was talking just then, I could tell Ryan's like, I have one sentence. Let me finish this sentence. And he kept waiting, and he looked so annoyed. And he's just like,
No. I didn't know if I should just abandon it because I don't know. Because sometimes we finish it better than the article, and honestly, I think we could have.
Well, you know what?
So honestly, I should have put the vote of confidence for you.
You know what? Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I can take a step back. You know,
Very good.
take a step. Yeah, you know, a little bit of humble
All right.
action.
All right, guys. So that brings us to our next segment, which is, of course,
Disclosure discussion. Ha 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 ha. It's about aliens and stuff.
Mystery of Russia's Roswell, where blazing red orb UFO crashed into mountain before being covered up by the Soviet Union. This comes to us from thesun.com. A rare substance only found in labs was collected from the crash site, Joe.
interesting.
Height 611 is the mountainside where locals watched a blazing red ball flying half a mile above ground suddenly plunge to Earth in the 1980s. The strike dubbed Russia's Roswell incident after the famous 1947 New Mexico UFO was set upon by Soviet scientists who made some remarkable discoveries. Locals descended on the crater near, Dalnegorsk in Russia's far east and harvested otherworldly metallic droplets with an unexplained chemical composition. The only thing that could cut through the mystery material was a diamond saw blade.
That is intense. I mean, obviously, diamonds are the hardest substance, which is why we have diamond saw blades. So, that is tough stuff, to say the least.
Very, very tough and very interesting. So now, 39 years later, Brit investigator Philip Mantle has dubbed the incident the Russian Roswell, after the famous UFO crash in the New Mexico desert, USA, in 1947. His book, written alongside Paul Stonehill, has revealed eerie new details about the crash on January 29th, 1986. Mantle, a former director of investigations for British UFO Research Association, told The Sun, "There are some of our colleagues that believe that Russia has alien technology from this event, but as of yet, they have not been able to understand it, just like our counterparts in Roswell in 1947." Which, we've heard about from Bob Lazar, I believe.
And birth.
Yeah. We've always known. Yeah. Various witnesses watched the crash landing and recorded what they saw. Yevgeny Serebrov, a schoolboy at the time, saw the object zoom down to Earth and said it did not have a tail. On February 2nd, 1986, days after the impact, local school children searched the site and found a burnt tree stump, a hole in the ground, and branches that had been sheared off by a falling object. They collected rocks and debris alongside melted drops of peculiar substance with a metallic tint. They took everything to the local museum.
I mean, I would be worried about touching that because the first thing
Yeah.
that comes, like liquid metal, the first thing that comes to my mind is mercury, which is incredibly poisonous to us.
Yeah.
So if I see some liquid metal, I don't know if I don't know, man. If I'm suspecting it's an alien spacecraft, it's a tough call, right? Because you know that all the debris, everything's going to be taken away by whatever government is around. This is a big deal, but at the same time, who's to say you don't pick up a piece of metal, it's radioactive, you bring it home and everybody's eyes melt out?
It's happened.
I'm just saying.
It's happened.
Right?
That shit has happened. But no, I mean, at the same time, though, being like, I would probably be that person picking it up. And then, yeah, it's like, if I die this way, at least I was like, I died from an alien sub. That'd be kind of cool, at least, right? That'd be kind of a cool way to go. Like, how'd your dad die? And my kids would be like, oh my God, he like picked up like one of the first alien substances that we found out, like totally just melts your flesh off.
Yeah.
Like it was wild.
Yeah. That would be, I mean, that is more interesting than he had a heart attack on a golf course. You know what's weird is he hunted this weird creature, and as soon as he gave the belt to this boss, he just went,
oh, Dobhar-Chú. Oh, don't be giving up that skin of Dobhar-Chú. Gosh, I suck at Irish accents. I'm going to stop trying. I got to work on that.
Don't worry, Ryan. If it makes you feel better, you are equally as bad at all accents.
Oh, sweet. Valeri, as well as I am at pronouncing foreign names, Vucilny, its director, began studying the material and drafted in V. Berezov, a local meteorite expert. Frustrated by the lack of answers, he decided to lead a team of scientists up the mountain himself.
That's kind of badass, though. Like, come on, guys, we're going to do it.
We're doing it.
Fuck this. We got this.
He later described to journalists how the UFO blew apart a huge chunk of rock where it landed, about 2 cubic meters, and that 10 square meters of snow had evaporated at the site. Vegetation had been burnt away, and the ground was scorched by the blaze. Combing through the ground turned up 30 grams of the same unusual substance formed into dark, solidified droplets. Valeri took his discoveries to a high-tech lab, which discovered an incredible alloy of lead and up to 17 other elements.
Wow.
So that is interesting because I've never heard of that before. That's why I wanted to talk about it today. Have you ever heard of this?
Honestly, we research so much, and I've watched so many of these documentaries. I may have, but no, this one doesn't jump out at me as readily in the front of my mind, you know?
But it stands out, right? Because they're literally finding
Physical evidence.
new material, droplets of weird new material, and they say that the Soviet
it's
Union,
a weird metal alloy, so there is totally possible that the government, in this case,
the military came in.
yeah, or maybe they were experimenting with a new plane or bomb, it blew up, and that's what that all thing was. I mean, it's entirely possible it is a man-made element. However, it is also a very cool hypothesis to think it is an alien spacecraft, because why wouldn't it be made out of a metal we didn't know about?
And just like Roswell, where we kind of scooped in and grabbed it, it made newspapers before that was scrubbed off. Lest we forget that Roswell did literally, it was put in newspapers, people in New Mexico, that they're like literally a UFO landed. Like that, they had all credible research. And then
like
the next
a
day,
flying saucer crashed on a ranch.
They were silenced, and it was all completely stopped.
Don't worry, it was a weather balloon.
A weather balloon, yep, and it was bullshit. Why would there be a weather balloon in the middle of the desert? Well, anyway, like, come on.
It's not that it wouldn't be in the middle of the desert. It's that it wasn't okay, it's not important.
Right. But no.
I don't know. It's just, go ahead. Sorry.
It's just, no, it's crazy to me because this to me seems so credible that it is a Russia Roswell where something crashed. It's obviously they came in, they didn't get it all right because some of it was probably still melting into the ground.
Well,
So
clearly
once
the
it's-
guy in the article got some, right?
Right. So once it's
How-
solidified, the government was already gone. They already had what they wanted.
I mean, I know very little about how life is in Russia,
We already
so
have
I don't want to.
UFO.
I don't want to speculate, but I have to imagine that the government doesn't want you to do something that they'll stop you. So there you go.
Like, did you make sure to get every piece? We got everything. Every piece of UFO. We got it.
Not proving your accent skills here.
And as always, have a nice day. Well, that was weird.
It was weird. Some things in life are weird.
They are.
Which, brings us to our next segment.
Real world weird.
A payphone in Tacoma Park can only make one kind of call. Bird calls.
Huh?
This comes to us from WTOP.com. Imagine you have a flat tire and your cell phone runs out of battery and nobody's around. If there's a payphone around, ideally you could use it and have an emergency. I mean, I haven't thought about this in years, but okay.
Yeah, but because of movies and TV shows, I feel like even the Gen Z kids, the millennials, whatever, we're millennials now.
Elder millennials.
Yeah, I guess so. But the point is that I feel like I mean, when I was a kid, I watched movies that came out in the 70s and 60s. That was before I was born. So you have to imagine they watched 90s and 80s movies where they've seen payphones. They got to know what it is.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know. I just couldn't help but make the joke. Forgive me.
No, it's fine. I'm actually getting I'm seriously inquiring.
I couldn't even imagine anyone actually looking at a payphone and being like,
I
"Oh,
could use that.
who's got change anymore?" Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have questions, Joe.
You know what? Before payphones went completely out, I believe it was U of M, Michigan, because my sister was going there. So it was they had payphones with card readers.
I
Like,
was
we straight
about
up-
to
you
just
straight
say
up
that.
swipe. Like,
that would be the new thing.
Well, you know how you've seen old vending machines where they were retrofitted with the new card readers, but you could tell it's an old machine.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that. It was this weird
New
computer
old-
box attached to this old phone.
Very, very Star Wars. Very new old technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a short-lived thing. It's kind of like renting DVDs from a kiosk. It didn't last long.
No, and I mean that's how I feel about this. So obviously this says ideally if you're stranded and you see a payphone, you're like, oh my gosh, it's an emergency. Unless you're in Tacoma Park, Maryland, that is, Joe. WTOP's Dick Uliano reported that's a great name, Uliano, on the Bird Calls phone in January.
This just did. Nothing but bird calls.
An old payphone located on the corner of Flower and Erie Avenues that plays bird calls. Once you pick up the receiver and press any button on the keypad, you hear a different bird. The cawing of a crow, the whistling of a wood thrush, or the chatter of a belted kingfisher.
Ah, my favorite.
Each bird call is accompanied by an authoritative voice, giving the listener not just the identification of the bird, but other salient facts.
I hope it's the guy from Allstate who is like the president in 24.
That would be great.
That's Allstate stand.
Or David Attenborough.
Or like Daisy Ridley for some reason. Just like,
Yes.
is that fucking Ray Skywalker? What the hell?
Samuel L. Jackson, I'll just say it.
Oh, Samwise Gamgee.
That's a motherfucking kingfisher.
Man, you hear that bird?
Say
Tracy
what?
Morgan.
Say what again? Oh my God.
We should totally get celebrity guests to this thing.
While not helpful for one who is looking for a payphone, it has been amusing the neighborhood for years. This thing's been working and is considered a public arts work. I'll bet you it's a Pokemon Go stop. Expect it to continue entertaining Tacoma Park residents for years to come, and us as well. I'm going to check in on this later.
All right, so I have a couple of statements here. Okay, so the two scenarios that went through my head at this is one, what if there is all right, so one of them's kind of sad hilarious and one of them's effed up hilarious.
Yeah.
So what if there is a gentleman or lady who is elderly and unfortunately has Alzheimer's and is like remembering something back in the 80s or something, and then they get lost in the park and they wander to this phone and they're like, I'm gonna call my daughter or someone, and they keep lifting it up and they just hear bird calls. They would just feel they would be
Operator!
like, what's happening?
Operator!
I don't know what's going on.
Hey!
That one is the sad, funny scenario, and it is horrible. But that being said, can you imagine?
I don't give a damn about the bird.
Why are there birds?
I don't give a damn.
I'm not going to buy Allstate insurance.
Allstate. And also, we have a picture here of it, and
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it
mean,
literally
it's
just says "bird" on
it-
it. Like
It
literally,
does say bird. To be fair, they do label it bird.
they just literally right above the phone where it hangs. It just says "bird."
All
in
right, so
big, bold
here is
letters.
my even like this is my horrible funny scenario. Is someone who's actually in trouble. Who's like running through the park at night because they're being chased. Like, I don't want to be creepy, so we'll just say it's a murderer, not a rapist. But in any case, they're running, and you're just, oh God, there's a payphone. Thank God, they pick it up. Tweet, tweet, tweet. What? Like, it just tweet. Like, you are so desperate for like help, and you are afraid because Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees is right behind you, and you pick up the phone, and they're just like, caw caw. You're like, are
That
you mocking me, Lord?
was an Australian kingfisher.
That's all state stand.
And then it like, and then you're killed by the killer, and the killer picks it up, and it's just like, and then it says like a new one, and then he just goes, and he puts it back, and the killer has learned something about a new bird today.
And actually, that changes his life forever. He goes into ornithology, stops the murdering, eventually makes enough money to pay money to the families he has killed,
Mhm.
and clone the people he's killed and give them back to them.
And
I couldn't think of a way to really like.
Well,
How
he
do,
got
how
photo-
do you appease murder? You
he
can't.
got photo of the year, man.
Photo of the year.
Yeah, you know,
Um,
National Geographic. You know,
He did it, guys.
yeah, he did it.
He did it.
Earthling Entertainment Special Report. 1. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, has finally been renewed for a Season 3 at Amazon. 2. A new trailer confirms that Twisted Metal Season 2 will return to Peacock this summer. 3. Despite mixed reviews, Captain America Brave New World pulled off 180 million global debut, with 88.5 million of that being owned domestically. That's a lot of cash. Earthling Entertainment Special Report. Cha-ching!
Calling all comic fans, it's time to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics, where the freshest new issues, graphic novels, and manga hit the shelves every week. Whether you're looking for the hottest new series or the latest small press sensation, we've got it all. Every genre for every age, Green Brain Comics is your one-stop shop for all things graphic storytelling. Got questions? Our friendly staff knows their stuff. Whether you're a longtime fan or new to the world of comics, we've got recommendations that'll keep you coming back for more. And don't forget to check out our special events. Green Brain Comics is not just a store, it's a community. Located in East Downtown Dearborn, we are at Green Brain Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Shop online at greenbraincomics.com, and remember to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics.
It's true, you made it through to the second half of the show.
So, guys, now that we've reached the second half of the show, we're going to do a segment all about music called Music Mumbles. But before we do, just a little bit of an explanation. Earlier in the show, I said I found out the truth about Triscuits, and it's a horrible truth that they are actually self-aware and trying to control our brains through telepathic messaging. It's really bad.
I'm hearing the message right now. I'm so dry. Good luck swallowing me.
Aha.
That's the Triscuit message.
You know what? Triscuits are in my head because my wife eats them because she's pregnant.
Oh, so she enjoys Triscuits. See, like I didn't even know they still existed.
They do, and you know what's funny is she prefers this. I don't want to say off-brand, but not the Triscuit brand Triscuits. They're like wheat weaves or something like that.
I remember having one Triscuit as a kid and just almost choking to death Like that
'Cause it's
scene
so
with Peter
dry.
Griffin where Peter like eats like a rice cake or something. And he's like, like just like that was me.
I get it. It always felt like some kind of too healthy of a food to really enjoy, and it reminded me of like being old, because you know when you're older you got to eat prunes or other things to get your system going, or
And
like
it happens to the best of us.
it
Joe.
happens to the best of us. Even legends get old,
Absolute legends.
and that's what brings us what we're talking about on this.
Music mumbles.
Ozzy Osbourne on his final ever show. If I drop down dead at the end, I'll die a happy man. This comes to us from rollingstone.co.uk.com.
Actually, I don't think there's.
I don't think there's
.com.
a .com. Forgive me. I just did that out of habit. I'm a little emotional on this one. Ozzy Osbourne means a lot to me. A lot to me. As Ozzy Osbourne gears up for his final ever show with Black Sabbath in Birmingham this summer, where they grew up, in what is being billed as the greatest heavy metal show ever. The first ever Sabbath lineup of Osbourne, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward on the drums. Forgive me, I get excited. They will head to the Via Park Stadium in their hometown of Birmingham on July 5th for a gig dubbed Back to the Beginning. It will be Osbourne's last live performance, and let me tell you, people, not like all the other people who always say their last. Nah, he's having it rough.
Yeah, he literally can't do more.
And see him playing a short solo set before reuniting with his legendary metal band. Also playing will be the likes of Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, Gojira, Hailstorm, Alice in Chains, Lamb of God, Anthrax, and Mastodon.
Woo!
Osbourne has largely been forced to stop touring due to a combination of Parkinson's and spinal injuries, which meant that the prospect of the show was up in the air until yesterday's confirmation as of this report. Speaking to Rolling Stone UK, when he became our first ever Rolling Stones UK icon, Osbourne explained how one final show would let him repay a lifetime's debt of gratitude to the fans. Man, dude, you've already paid it. That transformed him into one of the biggest rock stars in all the world. I don't know. I love him so much. He's said this so many times. It's like, man, and he's still going.
I mean, dude, part of being an artist is never being satisfied with the art you do. I mean, it's like you paint a picture, there's always another paint stroke you wanted to do. You make a movie, there's always another character or scene you wanted in it, you know?
One of my
You're
last
a musician, same thing.
One of my last favorite quotes from Ozzy was like just last year, year before, when they were still attempting tour, and he was just like, if you heard of Ozzy Osbourne dying in his home, like surrounded with luxury, you'd be like, what the fuck? But if you heard of Ozzy dying in some piece of shit hotel on his way to a next gig, you'd be like, hell yeah.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like,
You gotta, Dewey Cox gotta think about his whole life before he goes out and plays.
I've got to watch that movie again.
I swear, that's kind of the thing, right? If you drop, like, you gotta drop dead on stage. You gotta be the wrestler, and that I think it's Aaron Aronofsky film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta go out that way. I say that
implied death because it was implied.
it was implied, but he died. Like, read the screenplay.
Oh, I believe it. So it says here, there's a quote. It says, that's one of the things I've been most fucking pissed off at. I never got the chance to say goodbye or thank you, he said. Because my fans are what it's all about. If I can just do a few gigs. They've been loyal to me for fucking years. They wrote to me. They know all about my dogs. It's all my extended family, really. And they give us the lifestyle we have. For whatever reason, that's my goal to work to do those shows. He added, if I can't continue doing shows on a regular basis, I just want to be well enough to do one show where I can say, hi guys, thanks so much for my life. That's what I'm working towards. And if I drop down dead at the end of it, I'll die a happy man. I'm like, getting a little musty.
I know, that's why I stopped interrupting.
In 2023, he also underwent a fourth bout of spinal surgery to remedy the damage inflicted by a fall in 2019, which dislodged the metal rods that were put into his body after a serious quad bike crash at his Buckinghamshire home in 2003. I remember that episode of the Osbournes.
Really?
Yes. And the following year, the Ozfest show was the Ozfest demon guy doing like a jump on a quad with holding up the horns.
Ooh.
It's really knocked me about, he said. The second surgery went drastically wrong and virtually left me crippled. I thought I'd be up and running after the second and third, but with the last one, they put a fucking rod in my spine. They found a tumor in one of the vertebrae, so they had to dig all that out too. It's pretty rough, man, and my balance is all fucked up. His wife Sharon added, "It's been nearly 5 years of headache, and at times I've just felt so helpless and so bad for Ozzy to see him going through the pain." Sorry,
that was actually really good. Fucking, I'm surprised.
See, I'm not good at accents, but I'm good at impersonations.
You know, maybe you're better than I give you credit for, but
I'm not good at accents. I'm good at impersonations. That was just Sharon.
You did well.
He's gone through all these operations, and the whole thing has felt like a nightmare. He hasn't lost his sense of humor, but I look at my husband, and he's here while everyone else is out on the road. This is the longest time he hasn't ever worked for. Being at home for so long has been so foreign to him. Can you imagine?
Yeah, probably has some weird hobbies. Like if you went over Ozzy's house, you'd see
He paints.
him. Would just be like, "Look at my, tapestry." I said, like, "Oh shit!"
He's a fucking...
Did you know Ozzy's been programming a video game? Like, goddamn, Ozzy.
I know he's obsessed with his dogs, so I mean, he's got that keeping him busy. He's got multiple dogs, and I know he paints. He always painted. And I remember, like, for a while there, they were selling them. Man, what I would do to get my hands
on an
Ozzy painting.
That would be cool.
That'd be so cool.
But here's a question, because I don't know. I mean, it's a genuine question. Is he any good?
I mean, they're
mean,
weird.
I mean, it'd be kind of funny, right? Like, it's just like, there's a fucking stick figure. Just saying. Like, would that make it better or worse?
I made a dandelion.
Look at the horsey.
He's smiling. The sun's smiling. The sky's blue. No, it's from what I remember, it was like really abstract.
Now all I want to see is like a Bob Ross version of Ozzy show, like just a Ozzy paint.
You just gotta take some fucking fuck. Just
paint.
Put the shit up there. Just put the shit up there.
Oh my god! There's a happy little tree.
There's a fucking dog shitting on the carpet. Like that's like all I remember from the show is just him bitching about the dogs just pissing and shitting everywhere.
I know you love that show. I remember seeing it because it was MTV in high school, so I remember seeing it. I was aware of it, but I was not as big of a fan. But I
was obsessed. I
respected it as being kind of like an early. What's funny? They were the Kardashians before the Kardashians, right?
And they were way better at it. Well, hey, they've had their ups and downs, but honestly, they're all really cool. Like Jack, he's turned his life around. Fucking Kelly, they're all doing great. They're all awesome.
To be fair, I haven't heard anything negative, which pretty much like that. You assume things are going good if you don't hear anything.
Yeah, Kelly Osbourne's with Sid from Slipknot.
Huh.
They post wholesome videos of like their kid dressed in like a Slipknot coveralls with a mask, like dancing with Corey and all them. Well, and Corey's just like, yeah.
That's kind of the most adorable thing I've ever heard.
I'm gonna have to share it with you. It's awesome.
Huh.
But anyways, forgive us. I get so emotionally invested in this. This is my childhood here. So it says, and it was a big deal to me too, if I may say. I got to see Black Sabbath play at one of the last Ozfests where it wasn't Ozzy Osbourne, it was Black Sabbath. And I believe that was with Geezer Butler. And then I got to see them with their goodbye show, and This Is the End tour, and they didn't have sorry for not Geezer Butler, Bill Ward. They didn't have Bill Ward on the drums because he wasn't feeling so well, which he protested, and I protested. Many fans protested.
Fair enough.
But they didn't let him on tour, so it's so cool that they have him doing the drums for this. And so
that's awesome because it's a real reunion.
correct. Like literally, how often do you hear that so long after from the 60s?
Well, I don't know.
That's wild.
That is wild. Out of curiosity, did you ever see Dio
Never.
before he died?
I had a chance to see. He was in like a power group. I forget what it was. He was in a weird power group near the end, and he was doing vocals. And I had a chance to see it, and I didn't go. I can't remember what it was called, but so it wouldn't have been Dio. It would have been whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, so back to Ozzy Osbourne here. Last May, bassist Geezer Butler said that he and Osbourne had agreed to play one more show at Birmingham's Via Park before he truly retired. It came after Osbourne said that he would jump at the chance to play at a final show with Sabbath, and admitted that he felt sad that drummer Bill Ward was not a part of the group's final show in 2017, which I just mentioned. Tickets for Back to the Beginning go on sale at 10 a.m. GMT at Friday, February 14th, 2025. All profits from the gig will go to Cure Parkinson's, Birmingham's Children's Hospital, and Acorn Children's Hospice, a children's hospice supported by Aston Villa.
That's going to sell out in 2 seconds, and then they're going to sell secondhand tickets for like $10,000.
And I mean, honestly, it's way more. That sounded stacked, right? All those bands.
Yeah, that sounds like a huge show.
It's way more stacked than you imagine, because that didn't mention all of the vocalists who are coming in. Because I've actually heard a different interview with Oz saying that he's like, I'm going to be doing parts. So he's going to bring on guest singers, including David Draymond from, this is just off the top of my head,
Yeah.
David Draymond from Disturbed, Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins.
Wow.
I forgive me, I want to say the dude from Papa Roach. He's going to be there. There's going to be a ton of vocalists
This
from
is like
bands.
the show of a lifetime.
Show of a lifetime. And I've seen some posts. Now, we know the era. We talked about it on the podcast before. We live in a weird era of getting tickets for a good price. You have to jump on the pre-sale. And with shows like these, where it's just one, there's no such thing. So you are kind of stuck with, like, if you aren't you don't have the shoe in, you're going to get aftermarket prices. Oh, dude, I've already heard aftermarket prices on this are going to be upwards of $4,000.
That's in my head. I'm like $700-800. You jump to $4,000.
I'm not kidding.
Because it's definitely the last show. Although he's working towards it, there is a chance he can't do this show still.
I've heard things, and I get it. I don't blame Ozzy. It's a big show. Like I said, literally, like I can't even begin to I forget all the other names I saw. There were so many that I recognized, and it wasn't mentioned in this article, meaning these bands will play, but these other people are going to come on to sing with Ozzy. So that's so many people to, let's face it, pay and, bring them on. And there's a whole bunch of things. It's one huge show, like the biggest rock show of all of the century.
It sounds like it.
And so you can't complain about ticket prices right now. You got to deal with it when it comes to shows like this.
Look, guys,
you got to deal with it.
If you were ever going to mortgage your house for a dumb reason, this is as good as they come.
Right. If this was able to make a tour, you probably could have gotten a pre-sale, and you probably could have gotten there for $500.
Sure.
But it's one and done. My man can't even get up.
This is like you've had season tickets for years, but for some reason this year your team makes it to the Super Bowl. You are a lucky person if you were able to get these tickets.
And let me say to everybody who gets to go, who is a fan, man, here's to you. Here's to Ozzy. What a freaking legacy. Amazing.
What a legacy. It just a rocker, and not just that, just what is it? A pop culture icon.
Completely.
Yeah.
Like people who don't even know his music know who Ozzy is.
Exactly. You know what? If you're just an Adam Sandler fan, then you know who Ozzy is because he bites the head off Little Nicky's brother at the end of Little Nicky.
But let's hope that forgive me if I knock on wood, that he doesn't come up in what is our next article.
That's right,
anytime
guys.
soon.
Sometimes, unfortunately, the people we love to watch on TV or listen to on the radio, they have some hard times, or they just live their lives, and sometimes it's sad, and sometimes it's, somber because they've lived a full life. But at the end of the day, we all go out, and that brings us to this topic, which is, of course,
At the end of the day.
why does it always go to there with you? Why are we doing Les Mis? I'm gonna make you sing a whole damn song on this podcast at some point. Anyways, guys, strap in for this week's.
Remember that guy? Remember that gal? Well, now they're dead.
Kim Se-ron, Korean star of A Brand New Life and The Man from Nowhere, dies at 24.
Too young.
This comes to us from Variety.com. South Korean actor Kim Se-ron celebrated her compelling performances from a young age, was found dead. Celebrated for her compelling performances from a young age, was found dead at her home in Seongdong-gu, Seoul on Sunday. She was 24. A friend discovered her body after Kim failed.
It's Seoul. It's Seoul, Korea.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
A friend discovered her body after Kim failed to attend a scheduled meeting, according to Reuters. Authorities have found no signs of foul play and are investigating the circumstances surrounding her death. Seoul police said on Monday that Kim's death was a suicide, according to the New York Times. In May 2022, Kim faced a personal and professional setback due to a driving under the influence incident. Driving under the influence incident in Seoul's Gangnam district. The accident resulted in property damage and a subsequent fine of KRW 20 million, which is about $13,815. Following the incident, she took a hiatus from acting to reflect and address health concerns. The actor was to resume her career with a role in the 2023 Netflix series Bloodhounds, but most of her role was edited out after the DUI accident. She withdrew from series Trolley. Kim was due to make her acting comeback with the play Dong Chimi in 2024, but stepped back from that as well. She was due to return to the movies with Guitar Man, per local media reports. We are deeply saddened by the tragic news of Kim Se-ron's passing. May she rest in peace, Kim's former agency gold medalist said in a statement. Kim Se-ron, you will be missed.
That's right. And the reason why I am covering this today, or we're covering this today, is because Ryan and I talked about it, and we really wanted to put the message out there that life is tough sometimes, and bad things happen, and maybe things don't go according to plan. But the thing you have to remember is this. I know it sounds stupid, but the sun does come up tomorrow. The more happens in life. There's in the movie Castaway at the end. The Tom Hanks character who was stuck on the island, he's asked, like, why didn't you just kill yourself? And what he said was, you never know what the tide will bring in the next day.
And tomorrow the sun will rise.
I mean,
no,
in our darkest times, we have to remember that.
And it's not easy. It's not easy. We're all human, and we have tough times, and you can always reach out to someone, because let me tell you, like Joe said, it gets hard.
It does. And honestly, if you believe you're in a position, and there are people out there who genuinely do not have any friends or family. And if that is the case, there are programs, there are phone numbers, there are things you can seek out. You are not alone, even if you feel that way.
That's right. And honestly, hey, we're all in this together. We are all friggin' Earthlings, and we've got this shit. And you know what? It can be easy to fall to the darkness, but let me tell you, there is a light.
There is.
There always is, and it might get dark again, but then it'll get light again.
Yeah, it's kind of a ride, guys. That's why it's the ride of life. It's a roller coaster. There are ups and downs, but hey, all of us here at Earthling Entertainment say, Kim, we hope you rest in peace, and we tip our hat to you.
Hell yeah, you did good work, and I'm sure you were an amazing person, and rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Earthling Entertainment headlines.
John Lithgow tipped to be Dumbledore in Harry Potter TV show.
They tapped him good.
This comes to us from BBC.com. U.S. actor John Lithgow is reportedly set to take on the role of Dumbledore as the makers of the new Harry Potter TV series start to assemble their cast. The veteran, Oscar-nominated star is in final talks to sign up to play the Hogwarts headmaster, according to film and TV industry outlets Variety and Deadline. I think he'd be a good match because he's like wholesome.
Dude, John Lithgow, I don't even know if they're going to mention it. They probably won't in this article because it's not everyone's like what they think of when they think of John Lithgow. But from a young age, I've known who this man is, and I've loved him because of Harry and the Hendersons.
Yep, that was one. I was actually going to say a newer one was Daddy's Home 2.
I didn't know he was in Daddy's Home.
He plays Will Ferrell's dad.
He does play Will Ferrell's dad. That's good.
And he's so wholesome. That's the best. That's one of the best Christmas movies. I'm not gonna lie.
Daddy, yeah. It's always
Daddy's Home
weird.
2.
It's always weird when sequels decide to be a holiday flick. They did the same thing with Bad Moms. Bad Moms 2 was a holiday flick.
Yeah, I mean it works, right? It's kind of a go-to. Like no matter what, everyone's gonna watch it.
Well,
for
you
the
got
holiday.
you got a built-in audience if you make a holiday movie because everyone's gonna watch it at least once.
Mhm.
But anyways, I just want to jump back to John Lithgow being in Harry and the Hendersons because it is it started me as a young age loving like Bigfoot and cryptids. Like that movie is directly responsible for me being interested or even being aware of what or who or whatever Bigfoot was at such a young age. So you could almost say John Lithgow is directly responsible for this show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Lithgow is known for starring in sitcom Third Rock from the Sun, with other roles
where he plays an alien,
ranging from voicing Lord Farquaad in Shrek to playing Winston Churchill in The Crown. If his casting is confirmed, he will follow in the footsteps of Richard Harris and Michael Gambon, who played Albus Dumbledore in the Harry Potter films. The TV series will feature a brand new cast and is expected to start filming this summer. It will be a faithful adaptation of the iconic books by J.K. Rowling and is due to last for a decade. Wow.
Yeah, well, they're the thing is, if you cast kids and they grow up, right? So if you actually want to follow them grow up through school, you need to kind of do them back to back. You can't, like, some streaming shows are ridiculous. You know the show Severance on Apple TV?
Nope.
Well, long story short, that show had 4 years between season 1 and season 2. The new thing now is because streamers don't want to give a series order for multiple seasons. They want to wait to renew the show. Like we just said in a special report that Amazon just renewed Rings of Power season 3. It's been months. So now they can start filming, which means we're going to have to wait a really long time for season 3. It's really annoying. Well, you can't do that when you have kids who grow up. Yeah. So 10 years is a kind of a viable, it makes sense because if you think about it, there's 7 books, there was 8 movies. Each season of the Harry Potter show is going to be 1 book. So you pad it for 3 extra years of like that little bit in between, filming and recording each of these seasons. And you pretty much are nonstop for 10 years.
I hope the best for them, but myself, this doesn't really excite me because it's like the same story again.
Yeah, everyone says that until you, unless you're a fan of the books, because there's a lot of things in this books that are not in the show and the movies. Like for instance, do you know that Hagrid has I think it's like a half giant brother who he hides in the woods and actually is the one who drags off the villain in the 5th book or the 5th movie.
I never got that far. No.
And Hermione actually tries to start this whole revolution with these little house elves and basically tries to have like a civil rights movement with these house elves. There's a lot in these books.
I just see a bunch of house elves just beating the crap out of themselves. Like, dude, stop it. Like, dude, it's okay.
Well, yes. Dobby was a bit of a butt. But All I'm saying is this is still a viable property. I lived in Los Angeles for a long time, about 10 years, and I had a season pass to the Universal Studios, and they have Harry Potter Land, and that thing was always packed with people who didn't live there, who wear the robes and had the wands. It is still like a huge franchise. So I don't know. I'm down for it. I kind of went down a rabbit hole. I'm sorry.
Wingardium Nerdioso.
A little.
No actors have yet been officially confirmed, but an open casting call has been held to find the 3 young stars. We appreciate that such a high-profile series will draw a lot of rumor and speculation. HBO told Deadline in response to the reports about Lithgow, as we make our way through pre-production, we will only confirm details as we finalize deals.
Which makes sense, you know.
Well, thank you for
look,
nothing.
No, it makes sense, dude. They're like, look, the dude hasn't signed yet. We're not going to make an announcement that he's going to be in it. Then last minute have him say, yeah, change my mind. And then us look like a bunch of assholes. It makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense. No, it's, no, like I said, I don't know, just for me, like, I guess you're right. Like, for, like, the true nerdy nerds of Harry Potter, like, you've read the books, you know them. You're so stoked for this because I guarantee there's going to be so many things that are there for you.
But it's not just that. What I'm saying is with all that extra stuff that you didn't see in the movies is there are things for people who want to see new and different.
Oh, and don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, like it'll be, it'll be cool to watch. But, you know me with shows. It's like, if I'm not really drawn to it, I'm probably not going to watch it. But I mean, this one I'm not drawn to. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be fair. The last 3 Harry Potter movies, I couldn't even tell you. And I know I've seen them a couple times each, and I don't even remember.
To be fair, the last 3 movies, are you referring to the Fantastic Beasts series?
No, not those. Just the Harry Potter.
All right, fair enough.
Fantastic Beasts was even weirder.
They made choices, Ryan. They made choices.
I couldn't follow up. And then they replaced Johnny Depp, so, already I'm like, just saying, you replaced the Depp man over at...
the problem with the Fantastic Beasts series is it was the same villain, Grindelwald, but they replaced him in each movie. In the first movie, he was Colin Farrell, but he wasn't really Colin Farrell. He was Johnny Depp in disguise. In the second movie, you have him as Johnny Depp. But then the third movie, because Johnny Depp fell out of public favor, they casted Mads Mikkelsen. And so it was the same villain, but he literally was played by a different character in each movie. It wasn't cohesive. It's hard watching those.
I didn't like it.
And make it feel like it's one story. At least the Harry Potter movies felt like one continuous story.
I will say this. I played Hogwarts Legacy, and that was fun, and I liked all of the beasts references in that. That was fun.
Yeah, great game, man. That was a good one. I don't really have more to say. I really enjoyed that game. But the fandom of J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter and the Harry Potter universe is huge. It is. Some fandoms are huge. You know what another one is Doctor Who, man. Doctor Who's been around since the 60s. It just had its 50th anniversary. And that's actually what we're talking about on this week's headline number 2. I'm so used to saying this week's. On headline number 2.
Full classic Doctor Who serials available for free on YouTube.
Ryan is sitting here talking about Pokemon, but he's going to be like, this is too nerdy.
This comes to us from the internet.com. The internet. We're just joking. Because this just comes from the internet. Oh, how times have changed. Not only do we have things like Pluto TV and Tubi running 24-hour classic Who channels and BritBox with the whole shebang.
The whole shebang.
YouTube is offering full serials without commercials.
That's right. If you're a fan of the classic Doctor Who, strap in.
The YouTube channel Doctor Who Classic has a whopping 68 classic serials available in full, spanning all 7 of the Doctors from 1963 to 1989. That's insane.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's important to remember that the classic series was serialized, meaning anywhere between 2 and 12 episodes in a row would be the same story with the same writer, generally 25 minutes per week. Each video you click on is the whole story. So anywhere between 50 minutes, like The King's Demons from 1983, and 4 Hours, like the War Games from 1966. Each Doctor has their own playlist on the channel, so feel free to find your favorite and strap in for some tiny, whimy goodness.
That's right. And Ryan, there's something you need to know. Do you know the 7th Doctor of Doctor Who, the classic Doctor, the last Doctor before we stopped the original series?
Yeah.
Do you know he's Radagast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I'm just kidding. But no, really?
Yeah, he's Radagast, like the
Brown.
From Radagast the Brown from the Hobbit movies. Same actor.
Just high on mushrooms all the time. I love it.
Yeah, well, I am a big fan of the classic Doctor Who. I'm a fan of all Doctor Who. I will say my favorite Doctors would be number 7, and I also like number 10. Yeah. I know the reason why I'm saying this is because you have no idea.
I have
It's just
no
so
idea.
funny to me, like how you just like, Doctor Who's too much. I can't deal with it. It's too dirty. 50 years of a sci-fi show, bud. It's like Star Trek. It's like if you were a fan of Star Trek, because that was in the 60s. It's the same concept.
I get it, sorta. Sorta. I've heard enough that I get it, sorta, but there's just so much to it, and I've already got so much useless information in my head.
Yeah, just Doctor Who's not your thing. You
I
know what?
just don't know if there. I think it's something that if you didn't get into it at the time, like at a right time, like at a right time, like when you were younger.
You know what, Ryan? It's okay. Some things people don't like. There's some things that you don't get into. You know what thing I never got into? We were the right age, but we weren't necessarily the right gender. Is the big Twilight craze.
I remember that.
I did not get into those movies. I was dating women who got into those movies, so unfortunately, I did see all of them.
I remember Burger King doing like a promo where it was like, "Which team are you?"
Are you?
And,
Was
like,
it Jacob or Edward? I
So,
think.
yeah. You had to like pick your team.
Well, guys, headline number 3 is a little bit Twilighty. So here you go.
Twilight star Taylor Lautner to play himself in a scripted show about hunting werewolves.
Finally.
This comes to us from IGN.com. Twilight star Taylor Lautner will appear in a scripted show where he plays the real-world version of himself, who becomes a werewolf hunter while moonlighting as a Hollywood actor.
It tracks.
So it's like tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah. No. Yes, it's like tongue-in-cheek.
I thought they were serious for a second.
You thought it was like a documentary? It was like,
No,
all
I
right,
thought
I'm
that
gonna
he
hunt
was-
fucking.
I thought he was going to play like his character. So as reported by Deadline, Taylor Lautner, Werewolf Hunter, is an Amazon MGM Studios production starring and executive produced by Lautner. Though its title sounds like a supernatural documentary series where the actor looks into the mythology behind werewolves, it's actually a purely fictional series where Lautner joins a secret society of werewolf trackers. After wrapping the final Twilight film, Taylor Lautner vanishes from the spotlight. The synopsis reads, "Fans speculated, tabloids theorized, but the truth is wilder than fiction. Taylor wasn't just taking a mental health break. He was preparing for his real calling. Taylor Lautner, Werewolf Hunter."
I can't lie. This sounds like the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen. Like,
It sounds like the greatest excuse.
dude, this was written.
What have I been doing?
This is written by me. I would have written this show. This is so good. I don't give a crap about Twilight at all, but I know as a fact that after the Twilight series, he didn't get overly successful. He did like a weird Tracers or Trackers movie, which was like they're trying to make him an action star. It didn't quite work. So this is the perfect idea. This is what he should be doing, Ryan.
This feels like what happened when he was trying to apply for new jobs. And they're like, "What can you do to explain for the past couple of years?" He's like, "Well, I've been hunting werewolves."
Werewolves, man.
And he's like, "Fuck you. I'm going to write it and direct it.
I'm gonna be executive producer."
produce it. You'll see."
Oh my god.
Playing himself, Taylor is drawn into a secret society of werewolf trackers who need his unique expertise as he navigates his double life, Hollywood actor by day, supernatural warrior by night.
It tracks.
Taylor must wrestle with the ultimate irony, fighting the very creatures that made him famous. Between saving the world, reviving his career, and falling in love, he faces the ultimate question. What happens when your biggest role becomes your greatest enemy?
Don't. I'm serious. This sounds amazing.
It does sound good.
I am so in.
It does sound good.
To this guy, because you have to have a good sense of humor, right? Like, he's like, yeah, I get it, guys. I kind of flamed out after fucking Twilight. Well, you know what? Like, I'm gonna have fun with it. It was that joke I always said, where I assumed Daniel Radcliffe wouldn't do anything after Harry Potter, and at one point he'd be in his mid-20s at a strip club with a fake wand, being like, "I was Harry Potter. Take off your pantseth." Right? So it's like the same thing. I'm so down for this.
No,
This is the Shark Boy and Lava Girl sequel series, only better.
To me, this is, he got rejected so many times, and he went home, got drunk, and wrote this, like, just in spite. And the next morning, he woke up and went, holy shit, it's actually kind of good.
It's like, you know what? Nailed it.
So, this description references his Twilight role, of course, where Lautner played Jacob the werewolf, a love rival to Robert Patterson's vampire Edward Cullen. The two eventually became besties, and Jacob married Edward and Bella's daughter.
Much like, what?
I didn't know that.
Read that again.
The two eventually became besties, and Jacob married Edward and Bella's daughter. That's weird.
How old was...
I was gonna say, didn't that happen within the movies? Like,
Did Twilight get creepy at the end?
Because she was like a vamp.
Maybe I didn't see them all.
Wasn't the kid like a mix? And that was like the whole controversy of the thing, that she died in childbirth, and so like he turned her, so it was like kind of like a mix.
All right, you know what? So all that weirdness aside,
gosh, I don't remember.
This sounds awesome.
Well,
I think I found my new show, Ryan.
There you go.
You know what? That's it. Nothing else can be said. Headline number 4.
Here we go. We couldn't. Okay. A Sailor Moon musical is setting sail in the USA.
Yay!
This comes to us from Nerdist.com.
The stories Ryan doesn't take seriously.
Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, the Super Live, is a new 2.5D musical entertainment show coming to the United States in March. It is based on the manga of the same name, made by Naoko Takeuchi, who also made the anime. The show's previews start March 12th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The show is in Japanese with English subtitles. Sailor Moon's musical adaptation follows a recent wave of anime musicals like last year's Attack on Titan 1.
Hold on, there's an Attack on Titan musical?
Yeah.
That could be amazing. You know, I recently bought the Toxic Avenger musical because they released a digital movie version of it on Vudu.
Of course they did. Of course you did.
Yeah. They're also making a Lost Boys musical that's on Broadway. I decided that story too many people were covering, so Sailor Moon.
Hey, you guys!
Do you want a Goonies musical? Was that the point of that?
Yeah.
I said Lost Boys. That was the vampire one.
I don't know why I thought that was Goonies.
Anyways, Sailor Moon.
I can't even think of a Goonies thing.
Not
Not a Goonies thing, a Lost Boys thing.
a Lost Boys things.
Other than
they
like,
don't really have the.
cry, little sister.
There shall
That's all I can think
not
of.
be-
I can't think of a line though that's like iconic from that.
No, all I think of is a very, very shirtless dude with a saxophone gyrating on
Yes.
stage, and everyone being like, "This is the '80s. It's
And
fine."
you know that he's horrifically gained weight and he has a cameo still in work. You can literally hit him up and he'll do a cameo for you. But he does not look anything like he used to.
Fair
he is
enough.
he is basically Jabba the saxophone.
Dude, you know what though? They made 2 Lost Boys sequels. Did you know that? They had Lost Boys The Tribe, and then they had Lost Boys The Thirst. And Edward Furlong returned for both of them. But the point is, if I was the guy who made those sequels, there's no way I don't bring back that saxophone guy to do the same thing. Make him shirtless. I don't care if he's fat. Put him in the fucking mall.
Yes. Yes. Oh, he'd do it. He's on Cameo. He'd do it.
That's what I'm saying. How awesome would that be? Like, Lost Boys 2. We brought back the important characters.
That's right.
Anyways,
That's
so
right.
Sailor Moon is doing a musical.
Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, the Super Live, officially opens March 15th in Austin, Texas, in partnership with South by Southwest. Anime veterans populate the crew of the show. Kaori Miura, known for her work on other anime musical adaptations like Tokyo Revengers, the musical The Prince of Tennis,
Yes.
wrote
I want to see the Prince of Tennis.
wrote the book and lyrics and directed the production. Go
Not too bad of an ass either.
Sakabi
That's my favorite joke. Sorry.
and Kaiohi will compose the music for the show. Go Sakabi has provided music for anime like Digimon Adventure Try in the past. Digimon are the champions.
Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions.
Girl.
I wonder how many people actually. I guess, never mind. Continue.
At its very basic, Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon is about 5 girlfriends banding together to fight for what they believe in. That's timely.
Puppies and cupcakes.
That's right. Said writer and director Kaori Miura. Sailor Moon and her fellow guardians are equipped with powers that help them defeat evil, and the characters are imbued with the self-determination to have agency and make their own confident decisions. Sailor Moon is one of the most popular manga ever. Since starting in 1991, it has sold over 46 million copies and has been translated into over 17 languages. The manga led to equally popular anime series and live-action series. Now, the Sailor Moon franchise is reaching new heights with its transition into stage. The show is currently playing in the United Kingdom before it crosses the pond. Tickets are available for purchase starting January 31st. I'm guessing that passed. Prices range from $30 to $120, depending on the location of the show. To purchase tickets or for more information on the show, go to the musical's website, which I assume is called The Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, the Super Live.
That's right. So Sailor Moon is actually a little old for me. I was too young, but it was like my older sister, a couple years older than me. She was aware of it, or her friends were, and I was just always aware of Sailor Moon in pop culture because Sailor Moon was one of the animes that brought anime to the United States in a big way. You know, I mean, obviously it was still there of Speed Racer and all these other ones, but that after that was Dragon Ball Z came shortly after that.
Yep.
And that was more
like
our
Gundam and
that was more our speed for sure.
yeah.
But like, even though I never actually really watched Sailor Moon, it was always in the zeitgeist. Like when the first shirt I bought from this company called Ripped Apparel, which does this mashup thing, they had Sailor Moon sitting on the Iron Throne, but instead of swords, they were all the Sailor Moon like wands.
Yeah.
And so it's always been there in like my pop culture bubble, while at the same time I think I've seen like 3 episodes.
I remember ticking off girls back in grade school being like, Sailor Venus.
What?
Because there was a Sailor Venus. And when she said it, it really sounded
like penis. Too.
And I was like, stop it. Like, I'm pissed. Yeah, it was fun.
Well, when the Sailor Scouts all like turn into their superhero version, they basically become like these white silhouettes. And there was always a rumor that in Japan there was a Japanese version where they're butt naked.
Wouldn't doubt it.
You could see them butt naked when they transform. And I have never looked up whether or not that was true, but I don't think it is. It's kind of like they said there was a cheat code to make Laura Croft naked, and that was not. That was not true. That was a rumor.
Just don't watch the episode where they fight the octopus monster.
That's funny. I just think it's before the internet, before everything could be disproven. The wild rumors that you could tell about old shows and pop culture.
No, yeah. Well, and speaking of something that's old that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, holy crap. Did you know that there might finally actually be works going on for the new Elder Scrolls after Skyrim?
What? That is one of the greatest video games around, and we've been waiting years for the next one. Can you believe that's our headline of the day, number 5?
Bethesda shares first Elder Scrolls 6 news in months. This comes to us from comicbook.com. After a prolonged period of silence, Bethesda has finally said something new tied to the Elder Scrolls 6. But it's absolutely not what fans would expect. All the way back in 2018, Bethesda formally announced the Elder Scrolls 6 with the caveat that it would be released after
Caveat.
Thank you. After Starfield. While Starfield has now been out for nearly 2 years, Bethesda has remained quiet about the Elder Scrolls 6 and hasn't said anything substantial about the project outside of some one-off quotes from director Todd Howard. Now, roughly 2 months into 2025, Bethesda has revealed a new promotion that will determine one small part of the next Elder Scrolls game.
Well, I am riveted.
In a new post, Bethesda announced that it's holding an auction that will allow one fan to appear in the Elder Scrolls 6 as an NPC. I would love this.
Yeah, you would, but it's an auction.
It's an auction, so I'm screwed.
Yeah, money.
This auction is specifically to raise money for the Make-A-Wish charity, which is nice. The winning bidder will then work directly with Bethesda Game Studios to create a character that will end up appearing in the Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, I think this is good news. So they're working on it.
Absolutely. I mean, if they're at the point where they're putting in a random NPC, they obviously have a lot done. I think we are getting close to it.
They're like, what else can we do? Calling all gamers and fantasy fans, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity allows you to immortalize yourself in one of the most highly anticipated video games of all time, The Elder Scrolls 6, says the auction's description. With this exclusive experience, you'll work with the developers to create a custom character that will appear in the game, leaving your mark on the legendary franchise. While this definitely isn't major news associated with The Elder Scrolls 6, the fact that Bethesda is saying anything whatsoever about the project shows that it's clearly still in the works. If you're interested in trying to win this auction yourself, you'll have until February 22nd to do so. Just be prepared to shell out countless thousands of dollars, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so it's the 19th, Wednesday the 19th today.
Yes.
So that means you have 3 days, guys. 3 days. So and it's up there. It's already like past its goal. What was it, like 7,000 was his goal?
Yeah, it says just be prepared. Yes, it is already surpassed 7,000 threshold at this time of writing. And that's just right now is our time of reporting. So
Yeah, so, it could be pretty high. I mean, in a way, it's cool that they're doing this because someone gets a chance to be in the game they love. In another way, it kind of sucks because it's, hey, if you got a bunch of money, pay to be put into this thing. It would be nice if it was everyone donate $50
Yes.
and then we'll do a drawing.
That's what I was thinking. Thank you. Because that's where my brain went when I first heard about this, is I was like, how cool would that be? Like, yeah, like, so, whatever, everybody donate this much money, like you said, $50, whatever, to said charity, and then your name gets your name gets put in the drawing. To me, that would have been more exciting, and it would have drawn, I think, more money.
It may have. I mean, there's people who basically buy a lottery ticket
It's
every
only at
week.
7,000.
That's what I'm
Do the
saying.
math. $50 a person. How many fans are there?
Well, no, they were only they were. It's more than 7,000. It exceeded an auction price of 7,000.
But I'm just saying, like, think about how many millions.
They could probably make a lot. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they missed the mark. I agree with you. So it finishes here saying, for now, we remain in the dark when it comes to the release date or window for the Elder Scrolls 6. The only thing that is known for certainty, though, is that the game will launch on Xbox and PC platforms whenever it does come about. And given Microsoft's new strategy of releasing its games on other hardware, there's a pretty high chance it will land on PlayStation platforms as well.
Which is amazing because I've always been a PlayStation fan and a PlayStation owner, and at times I've been tempted by Xbox's exclusive game content. So the fact that Xbox is like, screw it, we're just gonna do games, just give them away. Oh, I'm so happy. But Elder Scrolls, if it comes out on PlayStation, you bet your ass I'll play it.
Oh, dude, yeah, I play on my PC right now. I'm honestly playing Oblivion. I'm playing such an old game, but
what is that, 4? And this is talking about 6?
Ah, gosh. 4. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah,
it's gotta be,
4. Yeah. So yeah, it's dude, it's so good, and I just enjoy it so much. And they were just so ambitious with these old games. They did so much. They were like, each little PC has his own little life. They have their own little routine. It's like wild when you think about just how much code went
Yeah,
into
the
these old
NPCs
games.
have their own routine. Well, you're right, because the bottom line is graphics weren't as big, so they got into the detail.
Yeah, and think about it now. You got graphics on top of detail, on top of everything, on top of AI. I'm sure that they're incorporating, a certain kind of AI into these NPCs now. What I mean? I'm sure they do that. That's already been Skyrim had a bunch of DLC made by people, made by players, where you could literally incorporate AI into random townsfolk, where you could actually have full on conversations with them. Like it's wild.
There's some interesting stuff going on, man. Well, you know what? I think that brings us to the end of the show.
I think it does.
Well, guys, hey, thank you so much for listening. We always appreciate it. Please download the episode. It is the best way to support us. That's anywhere you listen to the podcast, your podcasting choice of whatever. Sounds great.
You.
And so yeah, Ryan, go ahead.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to share this podcast with your coworker, with your friend, with a loved one, with your granny, with
Ooh,
anyone.
Grannies love us.
Grannies love us because grannies were Earthlings first.
Not too bad of an ass either. Anyways, guys, if you want a promotional bumper sticker, hit us up at Earthling Entertainment Podcast at gmail.com, or you could hit us up on Facebook.
You could, and you should. We hope you do. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next week. All right. So from all of us here at Earthling Entertainment,
See ya.
See ya.